Oh boy, puddles. Let's get a little spray going in the Cybertruck. Good. Better. Hey crew, I've got the key card to that Tesla Cybertruck. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. And oh my goodness. Just look at this thing. This is the first time I've actually seen one in person, and what an impression it is leaving on me. We'll dive in deeper in just a sec. First, let's just talk about some of the details. Got this LED light bar coming across the nose, and then the LED turn signals are going to be down here. To open up the frunk, there is a manual release here. You can use the app. There we go. It pops on up. That gives you access to a 7 cubic foot frunk, and then the close button is off to the side. And herein, we can address the edges of the truck and the fear of severing fingers or hurting yourself. Certainly, you could have an injury if you weren't paying any attention and you closed the frunk, or the person who was closing it on you wasn't telling you, hey, move your fingers. One, it does make a noise as it's about to close. And two, that's kind of just like any other trunk in a manual trunk in a car. You close your trunk on your fingers, that either is going to at least very much hurt, or in other cases, cause some serious permanent damage. So that's kind of the same deal here. And I was pleased to find, because this really was a concern for me, as I run my hands over every edge of the Cybertruck, there's nothing that's jutting out to the point that I'm actually going to cut myself on if you're at least a prudent individual and you're at least warning your friends when you're closing your frunk. Check out this windshield wiper. This thing is massive. This is the biggest one on any production vehicle for the biggest windshield on any production vehicle. And I know you want to make phallic jokes, but let's just keep those to ourselves for right now. Looking at the over fenders, very angular, much like the entire truck. Those are sitting over these 35-inch all-season, all-terrain hybrid tires. Not a full all-terrain tire, but you can take this thing off-road. And here we have these 20-inch hubcaps. And stepping back to look at the profile of this 18.5-foot long truck with the tiny front overhang. I mean, so short, and that's really going to help it off-road. Gosh, the design. Honestly, I expected to just go, oh, it's different, but it's not for me. In person, guys, this is just, I mean, the word cool is super appropriate. Yeah, it looks like something my daughter would assemble with Magnetiles, but does anything else on the road look like it? No. And in the metal, it's just rad. Here at the back, you've got LED taillights over here, and then this tonneau cover, which can go up and down here. This is the dampened tailgate. It's not a power raising and lowering tailgate, though it does have soft close. Check this out. Soft close feature. There's the tonneau going away for right now. And I like that it tucks all the way down in. We also have in-bed storage for this 6-foot bed, and a pretty decent sized cubby with dividers here and a drain plug if you want to put ice and drinks in there. LED light bars on the side to illuminate what you've got going on, adjustable tie-down points, a bottle opener over here, and then AC outlets off to the side here. There is going to be a range extender version of the Cybertruck that will kind of go into the bed, obviously taking up some storage space. But for right now, this is just very usable. It can tow 11,000 pounds. And back here, the owner, Derek, has added some grip tape on top of the bumper. And these are actually pretty wide ledges, so I can stand up here easily and access anything inside the bed. You can open up the charge port door here. I'm excited looking at this thing. So my question for you is, would you get excited about this, or would you feel a little apprehensive driving something that looks like this around town? Excited or apprehensive? Let me know in the comments. And the truck is covered in steel. Does that mean it's durable? The answer is yes. It is scratch resistant. It is dent resistant. It is bullet resistant. So, I mean, you can kind of just bang on the doors and there's nothing that's going to happen. Here, I'm going to hit this button. It'll present the door. And taking a look inside, in the back of the cab, we've got these leatherette seats with heating, and you can raise those up by pulling on that tab right there. Those come up. Then you've got all this open bed storage, much like most traditional pickup trucks. And also we can pull this lever here, and that's going to pull down the armrests. Bit of a squeak there to it. Leatherette padding up top there. Otherwise, there's actually a bolstered middle seat. You don't see that all the time. Usually it's just a flat bench. But yeah, each seat has its own bolstering. You got the 2 tones of leatherette here on the doors. Down low, injection molded. Large door pockets here. Sitting behind my own seat at 6 feet tall. Got tons of knee room here. Mat pockets, big foot pockets to slide my feet under. Even in the middle seat. Should really stretch out. This is super nice. And then we've got this big tablet. I think it's a 9-inch tablet back here. You can control where the air vents are going. You can have your music set up. You can watch YouTube videos or Netflix videos and trigger on your seat heating. There are 2 USB-C ports hidden under here with a DC outlet, and texture of the plastic underneath the screen's a little bit rough for me. Headroom here under this giant glass roof, even with the hat on and the GoPro on my face, is still solid. Head's back on the headrest and I can clear it. Before closing up these doors, worth mentioning that the back one's open to 90 degrees. That makes it so easy to get things in and out, in my case, like car seats. And when I do close it, they're pretty hefty. And so that sound of the close is really nice and solid. Hidden this button here presents the driver door. The front seats are heated and ventilated now with the same perforated leatherette. It does feel pretty good for leatherette. Leatherette topping for the console. Inside we've got an insert. Remove that for a big storage cubby and a USB-C port. Got 2 wireless charging pads here. Underneath that, we just have more storage space. And to make sure that anything you put inside doesn't roll under the foot pedals, they've got borders on either side. The laser welding for this tread plate, that's part of the Foundation series. Aluminum accents for those foot pedals. Hopping inside, closing up this door. Little more rattle to that than the rear doors. Looking at the steering wheel, yes, we've got a yoke again, but now it's closed, unlike the Model S and Model X Plaid, and this just feels much more natural to use, especially when you're turning that wheel. The infotainment screen is giant, 18.5 inches, and crazy responsive for something this large. To just everything you input is an immediate response. It's just wild to me, and useful when you don't have things like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Above the screen is the dinkiest little rearview mirror I've ever seen. Like, they didn't want to put one there, but they probably had to. And when the tonneau cover's up, you can't see anything through it. And when it's down like this, you still just have the narrowest little letterbox view. This spine of drive selection controls becomes available to you, or you just swipe your finger forward for drive, back for reverse, and hit that button for park there. But that's just pretty cool. It's kind of a hidden thing. Visibility wise, these pillars are pretty large. You do have those corner windows which do help for visibility, and there's a blind spot there. With the tonneau cover up, you definitely, again, can't see anything out the back of it, but there is a digital rearview mirror that shows up in the screen while we're driving. The cabin's spacious. I mean, for $100,000, I wish there was a little more stylistically going on apart from angles. I mean, I'm ready. Let's take the Tesla Cybertruck for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. Just putting my foot on the brake turns the vehicle on. And now I say, hello, cabin crew. Thank you for joining me and the owner, Derek Wolf, inside the Tesla Cybertruck. We are going to take it for a drive, and you should definitely go follow Derek on his YouTube channel because he's got a bunch of Cybertruck content if you want to learn more about the truck. For now, I'll throw on my seatbelt. And then to go in reverse, again, I could use the spine up here, or I can just pull back, and that's going to bring up a bunch of different camera angles, including side views and a really high resolution, backup camera with trajectory lines. And then if I hit the camera button here, that will also show, or rather I need to be in the forward view. Now I've got the front facing camera angle, again with trajectory lines already. I'm feeling the steer-by-wire dynamic ratio being wild. Okay, so let's pull on out. Very quiet hum going on for safety. And then into drive. Let's test out the turning circle. Now, typically pickup trucks, I need to be all the way over here to actually get into one go. I'm going to crank the wheel. A little bit of motor noise from the steering system. Goodness. 18.5 feet long, and it turns around like that. That's ridiculous. That's that rear wheel steering system just coming in clutch. Turn signals are here on the wheel, and that pulls up a right view out the door mirror. Turn signal sound is so light. I love that. I mean, you could leave that on at a stoplight, it would never bother you. And now for the world famous horn test. Wow, that's a perky horn. I really enjoy that. It's very friendly. The powertrain in this Foundation Series Cybertruck, which Derek got, he put in the order 4 years ago?
It was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. That's crazy. And now you've got it. I'm sure you're stoked on that. And you're also stoked on the fact that it makes 600 horsepower from 2 electric motors, one at the front axle, one at the rear, giving us all-wheel drive. Right now, not using much of that, just kind of putzing around town to get the regen braking, which slowed me without even needing to touch the pedal. There's only one calibration for regen braking, not multiple. You can easily kind of regulate the amount of throttle to get you out of the hole, get up to speed. And I'm already in love with the steering system. Like the recalibration now that it's made at higher speeds, the amount of effort I have to put in, the ride quality is also great. Just kind of like soaking up the road blemishes. Got all that tire sidewall that's helping as well. The rear view mirror I was talking about, the digital rear view, certainly in clear weather, I can see very easily out the back there. You do get used to that. Oh, nice!
You can snap it back.
You kind of just drag it around. One thing I am missing, I would love to have a kind of a digital cluster here in front of the steering wheel. I know you get used to seeing it just off to the right-hand side there, and it's not like I'm having to position my head right to actually see it, but it would be nice like getting that like you get in the Model S or the Model X, having that right there. I love the visibility. Yeah, the dash is giant, but for one, in that turning circle, I never felt like it was dimensionally so large that I wouldn't be able to make that. I could tell immediately how far away the nose of the truck was because the front overhang is so limited, it's so small. Now with this Foundation Series, you've got a range of 340 miles estimated, and right now we're around 90% charge, showing 289 miles. That matches up decently well. Anything close to 300 miles in general, for most people's use, is going to be plenty. And as long as the range holds up in this truck, which this is not going to be a full-on range test during this first drive, but as long as the range holds up decently well, 300 miles is never going to give anyone range anxiety. I do know having the tonneau cover closed improves that range. If you've got it open, it's going to create more drag and reduce the range in the same way that, you know, towing with the truck, creating all that extra drag and the weight pulled behind it is going to reduce that range. And at these higher speeds, the wind noise is really very low. Like, honestly solid. I was expecting a bit more noise, if not from the tires, which are making next to no noise. I was expecting more wind noise. I hear the faintest rustle of it on that giant windshield, but that's about it. Yeah, I mean, you get a little electric motor whir. That's kind of the extent of it. The seats are comfortable as well. Just top of mind, I have to come back to this ride quality because I was thinking of, you know, what it's competing against: Hummer EV, Rivian R1T, Ford F-150 Lightning, and the F-150 Lightning was kind of like my benchmark for ride quality among electric pickup trucks, and this is at least matching it, and that's something big to say because I was thinking, okay, R1T, they've come a long way with their electric vehicle design. Their pickup truck is pretty darn solid, but it does have a more crashy suspension than this. This will go over big imperfections, and it does not crash. It will absorb that imperfection. It stays pretty darn compliant. And when you're adjusting yourself to the rebound that's happening as you're going over those things, which again is there like all pickup trucks, the ride compliance is fantastic. I've yet to discuss the drive configurations you can have for the Cybertruck. So up until this point, we've been in the standard acceleration, which among the two, chill or standard, is the perkier responsiveness one. But there's also chill, which is going to definitely relax the throttle input, even though it's not really a throttle, the accelerator input. And this one is actually kind of nice for coasting around town, so you're never going to have the immediacy, but also it's not going to be overzealous with the application of the accelerator. And then in terms of our ride comfort, we've been in the relaxed setting. There is also a firmer setting, just to compare. I mean, this is a pretty smooth piece of asphalt here. Yeah, there's a little more of that rebound that's coming in. And now going back into the standard acceleration, and we can keep it in the relaxed ride compliance. I'm just gonna give it a little bit. Oh, Jesus. The craziest part is you are so well insulated in this thing that you feel the G-force, you hear nothing, it just kind of just moves. It absolutely moves. You know I have to do a real world 0 to 60. So I've got my race box set up here and there is no launch control. So just from the standard acceleration, I'm gonna put my foot down. Oh, the G's! They're 60 in 4.04 seconds.
No way.
Wow. Instant acceleration and enjoyable. This 6,000 pound pickup truck just moved like that, come on. So after the crazy acceleration, you're worrying about slowing. And as both Derek and I just experienced, this pickup truck in front of us, this Tacoma, just cut us off. Very not cool, but all I had to do was peel off the throttle a little bit and we were already slowing enough that I never actually needed to go to the brake. The regen was that strong. In a situation like that, I never had to panic. I never even felt the need to go to the horn, even though it was not a cool move because the truck was already slowing down plenty. And now I feel the need to explore the handling of the Cybertruck, actually using some of that friction braking. And it being a pedal that's not immediately biting, but does seem to haul us down, and then the acceleration out of corners is great. This dynamic ratio steering rack is proving perfect here, reducing the amount of effort needed to pivot the truck. Keeping in mind the tires that we have, feels very stable there through that curve. Not a whole lot of lean up top. God, this is fun. This is super fun. Not a great amount of feedback through the wheel, not a performance vehicle, I get it, right? I have just enough to tell me that's kind of the limit, right? That's all I need. That'll do. The regen braking working here as well. It's another lever you can pull to manipulate the handling of the Cybertruck.
Nice.
It's pretty fun.
It just handles.
It handles really, really well. I'm impressed with this. Okay, now we've made it to some off-roading that we're gonna do. I mean, I should say this is more like a fire road, but with all the rain that we've had in SoCal recently, it's creating some huge potholes and ruts that will be a good test of the suspension in the Cybertruck.
Hit this off-road button.
Okay.
And confirm all the, hey, I read that for sure.
Yeah.
And right now we're overland. I like all-purpose. It's just
I can
a safe bet.
hear the air suspension raising us up already.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you can decide what you think. Maybe you're familiar with this.
Yeah,
area, so
yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, I mean, I'm just gonna leave it in all-purpose for right now. Baja, what's the change up for Baja?
So if we click Baja right here, it doesn't give you all those other, offshoots, but it does say give you a deceleration mode.
Interesting. So this is the one way that you can kind of control the regen braking is being in this Baja mode. Let's head back into Overland for right now. It feels very solid as it goes over these big challenging holes. You hear the suspension a little bit, but it's not crashing. It's thudding, and thudding is a quality noise. Oh boy, puddles. Let's get a little spray going in the Cybertruck. Good. Better. Oh, and this is a great excuse to use the giant windshield wiper, so let's try that. One swipe and it's cleared. Hey, this is cool also for the more technical things we'll be doing. Just kind of plot out where you're going. You can see your tires there.
Let's see if we can clean this up a bit here. If I can get my finger.
Oh, yes. Ah,
Cool.
Sprayed away.
better.
Nice. Oh yeah, the ride just gets smoother as you go quicker.
Wow.
I feel so good. That was probably those were the biggest bumps we'd hit, but frankly, anything is going to feel that. Unless you're in a Raptor or a TRX, like you're gonna feel those hardcore, and the Cybertruck just took it in stride. And all the Rams, these folks just stoked on the Cybertruck. There's some of many people who are just very enthusiastic. Look at this. All the rains have created a ton of water. I've never seen water through here. And we're just gonna wade across. And now we've encountered some mud. And so I'm gonna change up the mode here from all purpose to, there is not a mud mode, but sand is the equivalent. It's really like loose terrain that it's changed the throttle response instantly. It's relaxed it a little bit to let me just plow on through. And let's see if we can't pull up that camera one more time.
Nice.
And just check out
Look at that view.
the thickness, the instantaneousness of the torque. Hard to get something like this stuck. Just butter. Now let's try some Baja mode. So I'm gonna hit park. Now I can change this up, go into Baja, just feeling out differences in the suspension. Interesting.
Are we feeling that more?
Yeah, this is firmer for sure.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna want Baja. Let's go back.
Yeah.
Let's go back, park it, and go to Overland. This is where you want to be in the Cybertruck. You want to be in Overland. Okay, so from doing 0 to 60 runs in 4 seconds, cruising around town, to off-roading, to now coasting on the highway, this has been a pretty eye-opening experience with the Cybertruck. I'm happy to say I didn't really have strong expectations coming into this. Sometimes I really do. The only thing I was expecting was to not fall in love with the design, and yet that's been uprooted and transformed. I really do love the way it looks. It's just cool. But I didn't have strong expectations about how it was going to drive. The thing I will say, if we're going to sum it all up, is it drives like a Tesla. It just drives like a Tesla. It looks like something that's completely foreign on public roads, but it drives like a Tesla. And if you like the way a Tesla drives, you're gonna find a very comfortable, familiar, enjoyable driving experience here in the Cybertruck as well. Comfortable riding. I would say it's even better insulated than the last Teslas I drove. I'm thinking about the Model X, definitely had more wind noise. The steer-by-wire system, once you're used to it, it's phenomenal. Having the rear wheel steering to help you maneuver in tighter parking spots. The acceleration being amazing. Thank you for letting me experience your truck. I mean, this is a new $100,000 thing. You know, not everyone is willing to say, yeah, I don't know you, but sure, go drive it and go make content. Go actually do a 0 to 60 run. Go actually take it off road and put a little hurt on it. And
that's what it's made for.
Dude, but thank you. That's a perspective not everyone shares. So thank you for doing that. My opinion has not been neutered by you being here. This has been a pretty sweet truck. And I don't say that about every Tesla. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Yeehaw!